Welcome to another round. This is round three of Netflix reviews. And I am your host, Maestro Drake. Whatever the fuck that means. I'm the only host. What have I ever invited anybody else? Not that anybody wants to come on board to this channel. But so I saw this quick note. I saw the where Daniel Day Kim, who I mean between him and Grace Park, they got poorly fired off of Hawaii Five O. I mean, I think Masioka was the only like Hawaiian representation, Asian Pacific Islander representation left. All the white dudes took over and they kicked out all the Asians, you know? That shit. That was dog shit. I don't know what the fuck happened, but anyway, Daniel Day Kim had messed with the other actors on a sort of a Zoom meeting saying it was like, oh, well, there's not going to be a season two. There's going to be a season two and three. So they basically said, the showrunner said there'll be three seasons and that's about it. It's basically like Hannibal. Like, it's just, it goes as long, this show will go as long as it needs to go. And then that's it. When it's over, it's over. Maybe if there's a future tense story where there's an old Aang, right? And everybody's old in anime form, I'm sure they'll do it in live action, right? So maybe that'll happen down the road. But anyway, um, yeah, this is a fun show. I have never fucking watched the anime nor the what was perceived as racist 2010 Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan, who is of Indian descent, as everybody knows. Um, so I came in there with no expectations, and I walked away okay with it. Sokka has like two girlfriends. One died to save the world, and the other one's like waiting for him somewhere. And then I think one of the actresses, I think the actress who played the bounty hunter is now going to play Amanda McCoy in the, what is it, Superman and Lois final season under Lex Luthor. I guess one of Lex Luthor's goons, but she died horribly in the comics, I know. So, and she knew Clark Kent and Superman were one of the same, so I don't know if that's going to play into that show. But let's talk about this show. It's very good. So the presentation was, I think they took it as seriously as they could. It was not M. Night Shyamalan's vision. It was closer to the anime. And I'm sure the strange pointy-eared monkey had more to do since it was a cartoon. I'm sure he had more to do. So the pointy-eared monkey doesn't have much to do. So I'm sure that that's going to be a complaint among anime fans. Like, hey, the monkey's not given much to do. It's like, well, it's live action. What can I tell you? Uh, the portrayal of the airbenders, I'm not sure how that compared to the anime. So I can't make comparisons to the anime. I can't tell you that the anime is better than this or this is better. I'm sure the anime is better because there's more story. Ultimately, there's more story, just like with One Piece, right? But like One Piece, I think this one really puts it out there. I think it was really well done. It's an all Asian, it's a crazy rich Asian American actor cast. Um, and there's a lot of different people in here. I just remember Daniel Day Kim. He's the Fire Lord. There's different actors. I think one actor I remember from sitcoms, and now he's an old man. He plays the uncle to Zuko. Zuko is the Fire Prince, the son of the Fire Lord. So there's firebenders, earthbenders, airbenders, and waterbenders, except there's only one airbender. And he's supposed to be the avatar, the one that controls all the four elements. Uh, I don't know if there's ever a fifth element introduced in the comics or if there's some new weird storylines or what. I don't know. You read enough of Superman or Batman or Robotech or Thundercats or He-Man or Star Wars, and there's going to be some fifth element of something, and it's going to be that cool angle or bizarro Ang or some weird shit. There's always a bizarro doubles of characters or time travel or some weird shit. All the actors take themselves very seriously. It's a little bit of The Legend of Zelda, in which you have the hero linking between all the elements, trying to make things right. Aang is basically like Link. He's almost like Clark Kent in Smallville. He's reacting to other people. Like, how do you do nothing, right? Um, and he has to react to everybody. Now, he does this big heroic thing at the end, and it really works. And I really like it. So it's about 8 episodes, and it was fun. This was a fun thing. So if you liked One Piece live action, there's no reason in the world you can't like this one. And I think it's going to be, I think it's not going to be disappointing. So what grade shall I give this one? Let's give it an A minus for now. Some episodes were kind of like, tongue in cheek, typical. Other ones really stood out. I just liked that there was tension between the Fire Lords and the people, that, like the terrorist attacks that were happening, trying to unite people. Like Aang had to really find himself, and I think it showed up really well here. Much like the hero, much like Luffy in One Piece, I think that this is really well done. If they can keep this up, if they can fix Cowboy Bebop, give it a soft reboot, I think all will be well. So on to the next show. Now this is an older show. Because the viewing was part of this series, I decided to go ahead and look at the rest of the episodes for that season, for that one season of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Now, I will say, I'm gonna spoil it for you right now. The seventh episode, the viewing by Panos Cosmatos, is the best episode. The other ones, I would say, I like the second episode where the guy is a grave robber and he gets attacked by rats and a giant rat and a zombie. And that was a fun one. It was so dumb. Like some of these ones were like, oh well, I guess their comeuppance is coming, right? I guess they get what they deserve. And it's like all the players, all the chess pieces are carefully planted, but it never feels natural, right? It's like the bad guy gets what they deserve. The last episode was dealing with a couple and the death of their child, and birds, and a ghost of a woman who drowned her her son. And there were other ones I'm trying to remember right now. A brother who was looking for his sister, a rat with a human head taking over his body. I thought that one was okay too. I like that one. So I think the ones I like second and third, I think I like the second episode second, and the sixth episode third, and everything else is kind of like forgettable, right? I have to give it. So I mean, like the viewing was really really good. I've already given my review on the viewing, and that one was the most like memorable, the one that stays with you the most. Um, and I like that cabinet. I wonder what happened to that cabinet from the introduction. It's a nice looking cabinet. But basically, it's Guillermo del Toro's take on the Twilight Zone. Just different scary stories that, it's one episode, one character, one episode, and once the episode's over, that's it. There's another story, so you go to that. So that's what it is, and that's all it is. And you either enjoy it or you don't. But with the viewing, you didn't know what exactly was going to happen. You had no idea. You couldn't figure it out. Um, Even to be fair, the last episode, you kind of didn't know what was going to happen either with that one. And the one with the rat takes over the human after he's dead, that was kind of bizarre. So I think those three episodes were pretty like kind of bizarre, but the other ones were like, I kind of know what's going to happen here. I know what's going to happen there. So we'll give a score for this one. Guillermo del Toro, what shall I give your show? A well-deserved solid B. Keep in mind, I'm not just reviewing the viewing. I'm reviewing all the episodes across. So unfortunately, the viewing will have to suffer the blunt of some of the bad episodes. So overall, a solid B. I think this was fine. Now let's get to the two movies I watched that were part of the Netflix exclusives. This movie. So, I don't know. One of these days it's going to happen. Kevin Hart is going to have his Uncut Gems Adam Sandler moment. Maybe he'll play he's already a father in real life, right? Maybe he'll play a father who has to look for his son, and it's a serious drama. but maybe he plays like a stand-up comic, but he's like, or something more dramatic. I mean, I want to see his big dramatic chops. I want to see that. I mean, because the comedy stuff is kind of, I don't know, Martin Lawrence, but I think Martin Lawrence had pulled it way too far. Like the last movie Martin Lawrence did was too serious that you didn't even recognize him. I'm not saying Martin Lawrence has to be funny in every single movie, but if you're not putting any of Martin Lawrence in there, you know, I mean, because he can be funny even when he's not trying to be like a cartoon character. You've seen some of his stuff. I've seen some of his stuff. But with Kevin Hart, um, I feel like it's the Kevin Hart version of that movie with Martin Lawrence and Danny DeVito. And what's happening? What's the worst that could happen? You remember that one? Nobody really remembers it because that's the only time that those two were together in the movie, which is basically Danny DeVito was like a rich guy. He basically plays the rich guy as an asshole. He played that in every movie, right? He's like so good at that, right? And Martin Lawrence is the thief that steals from him. So here you have this sort of Lupin the Third style kind of thing, but it's paint by numbers. You know how this is going to go. You know what's going to happen. Okay, it starts out with a heist of a painting, or no, it's not just the heist of a painting or an artifact, but it ends up with stealing the guy who can't be seen in public because he's like anonymous online, and getting NFTs. So about stealing NFTs. So it was something that first part. I'm going to admit I actually did like the first part. The rest of it's very straightforward. Stealing gold bars. Now you got the guy Worthington. I forgot his name. He's Jake Sully, right, in the Avatar movies. Here he plays kind of the bad guy, but he's not the bad guy. That he's not a master criminal. He's just the guy the boss that the this one here does not like, the girl here. So she's British, but it kind of reminds me of Martin Lawrence in What's the Worst That Could Happen, where he falls in love with a girl who's like British or European. So it reminds me of that. And so you got everybody else here who are master thieves. But in the Martin Lawrence movie, Martin Lawrence is just a petty thief, and everybody's like, they steal stuff like Joey Diaz level of stealing, right? They just steal shit, pawn shit up. They steal it, they sell it, or pawn it, or whatever. These are like people who steal super expensive things. So they're like on the 10th level, on the 10th floor of being thieves. So that's what's happening there. But everything that you see that's happening, there's always this curvature of unexpected plot twists and all that. But then you kind of expect it because that's how the movie's any interesting, right? But it's rather forgettable. I would say it's like the Super Mario Brothers movie if the actors weren't really trying. Um, if they weren't trying, you'd still enjoy it, but something's kind of wrong with it. So what grade shall I give Lift? Lift, that came out early this year, I think. It came out in January. Grade is pending, grade pending. I'll give it a 50. That's it, a 50. They clone Tyrone. Oh, man. So, let me zoom in on this really quick because there's a reason why I'm going to do that. Okay. Just in case you're not really paying attention to anything, because I don't want you to pay attention to too much of what we're looking at here. Okay. So, there's a lot going on in this movie. I don't want to really spoil it. I don't want to talk about it that much. And I think Angry Joe was wise not to talk about this movie in depth because you do need to see this. He ranked it at the bottom of his movies that he liked. I will say it is a blaxploitation movie, a modern day blaxploitation. Now, you do get a feeling of Twilight Zone, of strangeness, of strange things that happen that can't be explained, but must be explained. How do we explain what's happening, right? So I want you to watch this movie for yourself. I want you to watch it expecting Boys in the Hood 2 or Do the Right Thing 2, right? Or something, or what is it, Compton, right? Like expect like a Compton movie, right? Like Ice Cube or kind of that thing. I don't want to really say who's in the movie, though you could probably tell. I don't want to say who's in the movie, who's starring in the movie, because I my brain didn't register who was in this movie until I looked closely midway through the movie when the plot sort of changed. When they break into a house, okay? They break into a house and they find something. I don't want to say who exactly is in this movie. And I will say for the female, it's her best role compared to her other roles. For the supporting guy, it's one of his best roles compared to a biopic he did back in 2005. And for the main guy, it's the best role he's ever done compared to the 3 movies he did. So um, I'll just say that expect a sort of 70s, 1990 style uh, black exploitation movie, just like Compton, just like Boys in the Hood, just like I don't know, anything like Friday After Next, or Next Friday, something like that. Just go in there with that feeling, okay? I'm gonna say though that the ending, when they get to the final problem, and they deal with the final problem. The main character deals with the final problem. It They kind of just run away. They don't really make the system work for them. And so therefore I can't give it a high a score as I wanted to. The beginning and the middle were really, really good, but that ending felt like really off. That you see sort of a replay, but what does it all mean? I mean, did the question mark feel forced? Did that question mark that you see at the end of this movie feel forced? Or did it feel like an evolution of what we were seeing? I don't really know. But it would have been cool if they had made it work for them instead of running away. So because of that, I'm going to give this movie They Clone Tyrone gets a B plus, and that's pretty much it for the reviews. Um, if I do more, I'll probably just do one show at a time. So I'll probably just review new and upcoming ones. I'm looking forward to more Wednesday, more One Piece, and maybe more Avatar. Any special movies? Um, if Lift was disappointing, Tyrone will not disappoint. And I'd say, give that one give Avatar a watch, and just watch the viewing. Until the next round of reviews.